Hello and welcome to March to the Pod, presented by Eternal Roofing. We are live here on Wednesday, July 23rd, Season 3, Episode 2. Today is really all about Media Day yesterday, and got some interesting grades to hand out as well. I'm your host, producer, currently a free agent sports writer, formerly band member of catfans.com, Corey Hogue. Find me on your favorite social media channel at Corey Hogue Sports. It's all one word, CORYHOGUE Sports. The knowledge of this show is provided by the creator and manager of Sports of SHSU. Again, all one word, on Twitter and Instagram. The chief operating officer of the Cat Fund and proud Bearcat alum, Ben Sorrells. Day of the week, man, like suddenly life got busy.
Really? Oh,
yes.
And I was going to say you forgot your most important title, which is "and others" also.
I am also and others officially.
According to what was it, the Southland? What was that? One of the schools putting together a recap of Media Day.
I think it was
something?
McNeese.
Yeah.
I sit beside Gazzolo and I become and others.
And others, yep.
And by the way, long time Sam Houston fan, Jim Gazzolo.
Yep.
Sends his well regards to the Bearcats.
As always.
So I left Sunday. I left Sunday morning around 9 o'clock. Went to San Antonio. Got there just after 3. Checked into the hotel. Found my way over to the convention center. Went and checked in. Made sure I had everything I needed for Monday for the opening drive media day. Went back to the room. Ate some dinner. Went to sleep. Woke up. Went back to the convention center. It was back to the convention center. It was just an incredible opening drive from 9 o'clock to 2:30. I thought the Southland put on a heck of a show. And then by 3:30, I was already back at the hotel in my car and headed home. And so I spent just over 24 hours in San Antonio, and the entire trip took about 36.
It's not bad. Get in, get out, get your work done.
Yeah. So now I'm like, what day is it? And then I get a call today. Canine Companions is in their 50th anniversary season, but they have another veteran class that's graduating Friday. They've asked me to come present the coins, the challenge coins to the new graduating class, which I think is really cool. Yeah. It was only a year ago I was part of that graduating class. So it's going to be nice to go down there and give back. And I don't know when it comes out. We'll have to highlight this because Sunshine is featured in one of their 50th anniversary advertisements that's coming out soon. So it's a national campaign, so that will be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, by the way,
she's busy man in high regards. You and the dog.
At opening drive too, man.
I saw that picture.
That girl was that got her up on that couch beside Brooke Kirchhofer. Yeah. That was awesome. Brooke. Everyone loves Sunshine, right? Like everyone now tolerates me because of my dog, which is weird. I don't know what made them tolerate me before Sunshine, but whatever.
Now it makes it manageable, at least.
It does.
Worthwhile.
It does. Hey, did you know there's a vote going on for Eternal Roofing still?
There is.
And I don't have great news to report.
But we can change that. Hopefully, maybe.
We need to. They are part of the 2025 Best of Belverde Spring Branch, you go to bestofbsb.com, scroll down to nominee categories, and if you're currently watching on Twitter or Facebook or on YouTube, first off, thank you and welcome, and second off, you can see how to do this. Go down to the nominee categories, click in the search box, Eternal Roofing will pop up. They got 2 categories that they're in: Best Home Improvement, and let's see, as you can see, I have voted. I've done my part to help out.
I have, but I need to again.
Yeah, I don't know that you can twice. I think it kept mine. But currently, they're 5th in Best Home Improvement and 4th in Best Roofing Service. Listen, I can understand the home improvement a little, but Best Roofing Service, 4th? Come on now. We know it. We know that ain't right. We got to get them up there. Go to bestofbsb.com. Vote for Eternal Roofing. Get them up at the top. And if you need any roofing or any general contracting done, get a hold of them. Visit eternalroofingtx.com or call 936-215-8539 from Montgomery County, 830-251-5673 if you're in the Hill Country, or you can email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com. How about that?
No Christmas light section in there.
No, I didn't. When I didn't do the Christmas, we won't
Well,
play the Christmas lights one this week again.
Well, no, I was just
We
I
gotta
didn't know
get
if
them
there.
votes, man.
That's what I was gonna say. I didn't know if there was a Christmas lights vote going on,
No,
but
they
I don't
need
know.
one.
Maybe probably not in July.
They probably need one. Speaking of Christmas in July, the Cowboys are already fighting.
Yeah, did you see the J.J. Watt tweet and the Micah Parsons retweet?
Yes, and JJ's right.
Yeah, that was funny.
Hey, yesterday in Frisco was the Conference USA kickoff. I guess they called that, right? That was
Yeah.
their media day.
Yep.
And during Sam Houston's actual time, which we will get into some of the scheduling and stuff later on. Real quick, before we go much further, I want to
We
go
have
ahead.
to hit on the hat.
Yeah, I got to put about the hat here. I'm wearing the Wisconsin frozen pizzas. And so if you can't see us on video right now, you have, what kind of oven is that called? Do you know?
Toaster oven, I guess.
Okay, toaster oven. We'll go with that. Got a baseball hat. The eyes look a little angry. Its tongue is like the tray sticking out. It's got ice hanging off of it, spatula in his left hand, ice hanging off the side of the oven, and then on one finger holding a frozen pepperoni pizza that has ice dripping off the sides. It's a pretty cool little hat. I saw it. I had to get it. I've actually had this one longer than I've had the donuts hat.
Wow.
I just haven't brought it on yet. It had to be a special occasion, I guess.
Which others have we not seen? I guess you'll have to come back next week and find out.
So now I got to go next week. I'm going to find out if there is one you hadn't seen. Now I don't even know.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to media day. During the Sam Houston part on, was it on ESPN Plus?
It was, yeah, and then the press conference stuff was just for media.
Yes. And so during the on-camera part, here is what Coach Phil Longo had to say about the advantages of playing all the home games in Houston.
You complain about things, you attack things, we're going to attack it. And you have to look at what the advantages are. We're going to play in Houston this year. So a huge part of our fan base is in Houston. A huge population, a majority of the population of our alums and our football alums are in Houston. So in a sense, we're actually bringing the team to them this year. And then the other plus is, once the season's over, we will be returning to a new stadium, and we'll be able to kick off next year in a much nicer venue. So those are 2 huge benefits. And at the end of the day, once you kick it off, football's football.
Yeah, it helps recruiting, helps get the.
Your thoughts on what he said there with the advantages part of it. We have another clip coming up here. That was from Conference USA. We have another clip coming up here on other things that he said about games in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, everybody kind of knows about the disadvantages, but I think that is the number one advantage to point towards. And there is a pretty significant track record of almost a decade and a half of games in Houston that have been well attended. 20, 30,000 on a pretty regular basis, obviously against some rival teams. But yeah, bringing the games to your fan base, which is largely located in Houston, is a plus. We'll see how the attendance looks, but you have to think that there's going to be a good shot that at least beginning of the season and for some of the marquee games that there's going to be a decent crowd. And it's a fun venue. It's a nice little venue for football. There's some good seats. You're close to the action. I mean, those lower bowl seats are practically on the field. It feels like almost. So
they are like.
Yeah. So
they are. It's about maybe waist high.
Right.
For an average sized person.
Yeah, so some good seating options, reasonable price. Fans are in Houston. Hopefully they show up, but you would think that the attendance would be pretty good for the majority of the season.
Yes, and everything he said in the first part of that video was outstanding. But that last about playing in a new stadium next year, I don't know that we could call it that. Because like it's only getting a new press box. And yes, it will look better. I understand that, but this could just be me playing on semantics about how, but at the same time, if I'm him and I'm recruiting, I'm not just selling it as, well, we're getting a press box up there.
Oh, I think it's way more than a press box personally. It's 75% of the stadium from an attendance standpoint. You're quadrupling your media presence that you can put in there. There's going to be nutrition and training stuff in there, suites, which you had a couple, you could call them suites, I guess, but suites and lounges and club areas. It's a huge upgrade. It's not a new stadium, but it almost feels like it.
Well, and I guess that's the key, right? Like, will the feel, because it doesn't matter what I think, right? It doesn't matter what I say about, but will it feel like it's a new place?
I don't know if you know until you see it get put up, honestly.
I think it will. I think there's a chance it will, like you said. I think they go out and it doesn't feel like the old Bauer Stadium. It feels like a new Bauer Stadium.
And I would encourage people to go look at Louisiana's new stadium renovation that they did. Same architect. The design that they have on the home side is 90% similar for what Sam Houston has, and it looks completely different from what it did before, and it's a massive upgrade. That's kind of the comparable, and so it feels like a new stadium there.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all for it if that's how it is. It's just that selling point at this, my immediate was like it's a press box. But then I also know that I'm kind of skeptical about things sometimes. Jason Plotkin, watching on YouTube, asked a fantastic question. How is Sam Houston reaching out to the Houston alums and fans and letting them know that we're coming to them? Please, Ben Sorrells, tell me there is a designated marketing campaign on the airwaves in Houston.
Well, there's not. So there's two. There's two. I got a two-part response to that. The first one is Sam Houston the past 2 years, and they're doing it again this year in Houston, has an athletics kickoff event in August. I think this year it is the third one, and I think it's the week before the season starts, whether that's the second or third weekend in August. So they have that. They've also got a football kickoff event. I've gotten these emails from the Alumni Association. Have they been marketed really? No. And then the other part on why things maybe haven't been marketed well from an athletics perspective or university perspective is you lost Adam Bright recently, who was I forget the exact title, but the director of fan relations or something like that. And while, a lot of people will give him a hard time for things that have gone on, I think he did a pretty good job considering the budget and the resources he had. And the reach out last year going into last season was better than it had been in a while. And going into this year, it's not what it was last year. So there hasn't been a ton done outside of those two events, one which you've done for the last few years.
Listen, mentioned budget. It comes down to money. I'm attending a Southland Media Day. I'm talking to teams that have recently gone to FCS or have been or stayed FCS and didn't jump up when they could, right? And it almost feels like monetarily they're starting to surpass some of the group of five.
Yeah.
It really does. It does. SHSU Up Zulu on YouTube commented, said they marketed about as much as Longo's auction. They mentioned things a couple times, and that's it. General Sam says, I don't know. They've continuously reached out to me about the games being in Houston through phone call, email, and see it online. I don't know what more they could do. Hey, I don't know what all they're doing. I do not live in the market. I don't know how much a TV, but you put that on an Astros game, right? Like I would think you buy some airtime in an Astros game could also help as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get the calls about the tickets and, like I said, the emails for the alumni stuff. I just think you've got to go above and beyond to reach people, to get people to games. I think a little bit of that was done last year. I think it's got to be even upped after a 10-3 season at the FBS level. But billboards in the area, marketing campaigns, the social media presence for the team has. I mean, we were the only team that didn't put out our 5 players on the watch list, CUSA watch list. Nothing about that. So you've just got to have an enhanced social presence in the community. You just got to go above and beyond. But
we're going to talk about that see. Too. That's part 2 of our media day. Texacantina watching on YouTube said, yeah, seems like the only outlet they used for the auction was the Huntsville Today show, from what I could tell.
Yeah, that's with Rob. Hip.
Yeah. By the way, I want to take a pause here before we go into the next part of what Longo said about playing home games in Houston. And I want to send a big shout out to a listener who has provided my wife with something that made her happier than anything I've provided her in 10 years of marriage. She got a gumbo recipe.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, she is happier than it made her day.
Have y'all
a
cooked
social
it?
Media presence would help so much. Hey, Nicholas, keep listening, because I'm telling you, here in the second half, we're going to talk about that. About athletics as the front porch of the university. What's that front porch look like right now? We got to get into that. We got to start talking about these things. It's crazy. Let's move on quickly here and listen to what Longo said. The next thing he said about playing home games in Houston.
Well, it will be, and we officially have 7 away, and they'll be well-traveled. We're going to put a lot of miles on our team this year. And then you add the mileage playing the 5 away games that are considered home games. One thing it does for us, though, is the routine will be the same. And I think just because of the way our staff has approached it, I don't know if we're going to view it, our players are going to view it as an obstacle. It's just what we need to do to get the kickoff so we can go do what we want to do, and that's play ball.
That is courtesy Sam Houston, ST Sports Talk on Twitter. They had video with Longo. They were there with Colton Foster. Zimmerman, Carlos was there. They were all there doing a great job of bringing us stuff. I was unable to get there, typically because I was tired. I'm not gonna lie. Right? that was a long 36 hours.
Yeah.
So what he said there, I don't know that I don't really have a disagreement with that. I think they got to handle that the best way they can. Jason Plotkin said, Longo, it is less mileage than what San Marcos will face in the Pac-12. That is true, but we have talked at length already and will more about how brutal the schedule is for the Cats this year.
Yeah, and I'm interested on the accommodations side. Typically, when we do play in Houston, they stay in a hotel the night before. I'm interested to see if they do that for all 5 games from a budget perspective, from a travel perspective. Do you want to make it a 2-day thing? Because maybe that cuts into your walkthrough day the day before. So I am intrigued to see kind of how they handle that from an accommodation standpoint. I would imagine they travel down to Houston the day before because that's been the norm, but that'll be interesting to see how they do that.
Well, he did mention that they're going to do the same thing every game. And I would think that would mean if they go to every game the day before and stay there, that they'll do that in Houston as well. That's kind of how I take that.
Right. That's the side I would lean to because that's what the norm has been.
Well, Coach Longo was asked during the broadcast about some breakout players, and then he was asked by Sam Houston Sports Talk about some breakout players. Let's listen to what he said to Sam Houston Sports Talk, and then we're going to get into some of this roster stuff that we've learned yesterday.
It used to be an easy answer there. We've got the battle at quarterback with Mabry Matoyer and Hunter Watson, but there's some depth in the secondary now. There's some interesting talent at the end. There's some new guys on the O line. We have a talented RB room. So there's going to be a lot of iron sharpening iron here in camp. But for me to ID some guys right now would be hard because I probably won't have a great feel for that until we get about halfway through camp.
Okay, couple of things. Number one, there were coaches at the Southland Media Day that normally when you ask coaches about breakout players, they will give you some names. There were a couple at Southland in the opening drive that were like, no, I will only talk about the two I brought. There's different reasonings behind that. Some are freaked out about the transfer portal, don't want anyone to get names to come watch or to talk to them because of tampering and things like that. Some are afraid if you give attention to some players, it makes other players jealous. If you say someone might get hurt that you didn't say his name. To that, I say you're in college, grow the blank up and get over yourself because that ego is only going to hold you back. Now, he did mention both times, though, about the quarterback battle. That was about all he said, and he really didn't say much about that, did he, Ben?
He mentioned a little bit more on the quarterback battle in the press conference. He didn't in the live segment or the interviews after. I also wanted to hit on the little tidbits he did give with the DB room, which I think we all realize is the deepest room on the defensive side, and we'll talk more about that a little later on. Mentioned some interesting pieces on the edge, which I do agree there are 2 to 3 guys who I think are going to be some good pieces. The depth there is obviously a big question. But yeah, with the quarterback battle, he said in the press conference with us media before on the live segment that obviously Hunter and Mabry, it's a 2-man race, and typically he likes to decide on a quarterback about halfway through camp. And he said the way he gauges the competition is the guy who just rises to the top and performs better. And so it sounds like halfway through camp we'll have a guy, and it's really going to depend on the production level that they have throughout those probably first 2 weeks of camp.
So part of the reason why he might not have any idea about his full quarterback battle and how they're going to play in the offense and who might be breakout players is because there are, 55 new scholarship players coming in this year? Like, the turnover is massive. There's 30 returning scholarship players, and Ben put this out on Twitter yesterday, Sports of SHSU, 22 new scholarship players that participated in spring practice. So that's 52 scholarship players that could or did participate in spring practice. 33 new scholarship players since spring practice ended. That, how do you put a team together if your roster's turning over that much after you've already done your install for a new staff?
Yeah, no, it's tough. And he mentioned it twice. I think he mentioned it in the press conference, and then I forget the other time he did, but 30 returning players. He said they brought in 22 for spring, then they had 33 get there for the summer. So just a lot of install, like you mentioned, that's a big part of it. A lot of moving pieces. I know he mentioned the O-line also in that previous video, especially that right tackle spot where they've got a couple intriguing pieces there. And then the other factor with all this is you have 55 new guys, 33 in the summer, and you've got 7 or 8 less days than pretty much every other team in college football, which is a pretty valuable amount of time when you have that many new guys coming in.
Did he commit an NCAA or admit to an NCAA violation yesterday?
I don't know. Did I miss something?
we'll get into. So I have that question. That's also coming up here in the second part when we got reactions to it, because I saw something and I've seen it worded differently twice. It could very well be just misspoke.
Are you talking about when they started practice?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I did see someone say they're putting the pads on last night. That's not true. Last night was just report. So it was a 4:00 report, 7:00 team meeting, and 8:30 was practice this morning. There was a couple media out there too. So no,
that's what I figured. But when I saw that they were having practice, I was like, whoa.
No, that would be a violation. And I reported probably a week or two ago in Cat Fund that the fall camp was going to start the 22nd. That was the report day. That's kind of when things get going. But the first official practice day was today. There was no practice last night.
Okay. Well, you also mentioned the offensive line. He talked James Dawn, who was there representing the Cats, is likely to be the center. He also had some things to say about being known as an air raid guy and what that offense might look like.
You know, that's a battle I've been fighting for a lot of years in my career in terms of the air raid tag is definitely philosophically the approach we take with the offense. It doesn't mean we're going to throw the ball 90% of the time. You know, our GA did a study for us about a month ago. And over the last 12 years, we have run the ball 180 times, 181 times more than we've thrown the ball. Actually, my first 2 years here, 2014 and 15, I think we had over 3,700 yards rushing both of those first 2 seasons. So we are always going to let the talent base dictate what we do. You know, the third year at Sam Houston, we threw it for 52 and ran it for 24. You know, it just depends on what the strength of your team is, and that'll always dictate the direction we take the offense. I think it's going to dictate what we do on defense and special teams as well. And, you know, and overall, we want to keep it simple for us. We want it to be multiple and difficult for the opponent so that we can teach it and be instinctive at what we're doing. And that won't change here as long as I'm here.
He gave the correct answer.
And
he gave the correct answer. Now, my one question, did the GA come up with that idea himself?
I don't know.
But it doesn't matter.
But
that's just me poking the bear, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, too, this is something I've hit on this show, other interviews I've done for a while, that, like, Longo is an air raid guy, but that does not mean we're going to throw the ball, like, every single play 90% of the time. He's shown he's willing to run it. He just showed, like, he talked about he's willing to run it, and if Hunter Watson's the guy, which I think there's a shot he is, I mean, nothing's determined, but there's reason to believe that he can be Phil Longo's quarterback. And I'm trying to find the exact stat, but in 2014, that year he's referencing when he first got here, Jared Johnson was the quarterback. And I'm trying to pull up Jared Johnson's stats this year.
Well, he mentioned it there, like the first couple of years, they ran the ball more than they threw it, and then they threw the ball more than they ran it. And at the end of the day, I don't care what your percentage of run to pass is. I care about how many W's you have versus L's.
Right.
Right. And so to do that offense, to be a good offense, to be a good offensive mind, to have a good offensive system, you must tailor your plan every game to the strengths of your personnel.
Right. Yeah, and Jared Johnson had 999 yards rushing as a quarterback and 6 touchdowns. You could see Hunter Watson fitting into that mold, or if Mabry's the guy, you go more towards the traditional air raid. But he's shown that he's willing to run the ball, and I've talked about it for a while. I think they're going to incorporate the run no matter who the quarterback is because of the talent in the running back room. I think you have to. I've talked about it for a while from what I've heard, and I think it's going to be a part of the offense no matter what.
Yeah, no, he's got an outstanding running back room, and you previewed that a few weeks ago on here. So that is outstanding. The last part that I cut off of everything I heard, again, all these clips here since the first one have been by Sam Houston Sports Talk, and a big thank you to them for being down there and bringing us the content as well. What has Phil Longo learned since he arrived in Huntsville? Now, he also at one point did mention that he doesn't have really a home yet, right? His family's been nomads since he got there. That right there alone in itself is tough, but this isn't necessarily the family personal side. This is what he's learned kind of since arriving to take over the football team.
I learned a long time ago, you're a better coach when you don't feel like you have all the answers, and you want to hire people that are better than you. You want to surround yourself with better people. You want to surround yourself with people that are experts in the area that they have to handle. And then you delegate those assignments out, but you got to have some trust in your staff and in your leadership, in the locker room. You got to be able to trust those people. So we put a lot of time into trying to hire and recruit the right people, and I have full trust in these guys, staff and players, and we're going to let them go do their job.
Okay, so watching on Facebook, Matt Sainamore said Corey and Ben at it again, and I hope Ben brought bail money to get Corey out of trouble. Gonna need it after this one because Ben Sorrells, he trusts his coaches. He understands he's not the smartest guy in the room. That's important. I agree 100% with that. He's got full trust in his coaches to do their thing. So who's calling plays?
Longo is. And we heard that back in December at the introductory press conference and just kind of confirmed it once again yesterday at Media Day.
6 wins or bust. Matt Sainamore said on Facebook, okay, I would take bust right now if I, as of this very moment right here. But that's me. We've got that stuff coming up, predictions, and I want to do, because I saw something going around, Sam Houston, some of the Twitter things yesterday, and it was give me your best and worst case scenarios for Sam Houston on records. So I think we might do that this year.
Ceiling floor.
That's what it is. See, my brain's not really here right now. SHSU Abzulu on YouTube said Green also had quite a few receptions while at UNC, so that'll also be a great advantage for the offense. There's
Elijah Green.
Yeah, that's such a great point right there. Great, because having a back who can catch the ball out of the backfield is a whole nother weapon, not only on play action and not just pass protection, but if you need someone, you've got two guys, right? A tight end can be a safety valve, and having a running back that catch the ball could be a second safety valve, and that's huge.
Yeah, a lot of dynamic backs. Elijah Green and Shane Porter are probably the most notable ones. You could throw Alton McGaskill in there. It just hasn't played a lot recently, but running backs can do a lot, and I think they're going to be featured in the offense, really no matter what system they kind of go with.
Offense turns into defense if you hold the ball.
Should be the other way. Defense can turn into offense.
Both.
Oh yeah, I guess
your offense can be a good defense if you're a grinded out 11-12 play 7-minute drive team to score, and you could do that consistently. Yeah, your offense can be your best defense.
And this is, I think, I don't know if I brought this up here or on the G5 Hive interview I did, but I think another reason why you almost have to run the ball is this defense is going to struggle. I think a lot of people know that with what you have this year. If you just turn into an air raid offense where you're scoring in 90 seconds or your drive lasts 90 seconds because you go 3 and out, have 3 incomplete passes or whatever, I mean, you're going to put the defense on the field a lot more. I think you've got to keep the defense off the field as much as possible. If you can run the ball, that's going to chew up some more clock. I just think it's another reason why you have to lean into the ground game.
No offense here, but didn't we already see that tried at Sam Houston when Longo was here the first time under Keeler? Weren't we watching that under Keeler, scoring 70 points, but you could play no defense?
Yes.
I don't want to go back to that. That's not fun.
No, that's why you got to change a little bit, I feel like.
Yes. You also, a long game isn't fun either. Just saying, I'm getting old. I got a bedtime. You can help us grow by rating our podcast on your favorite platform. And let me tell you, You can find us in a lot of places right now. I'm going to give you a list of those here soon because I didn't bring it up beforehand. But follow us on Podbean at marchtothepod.podbean.com. You can download, share our page. Each episode you can download and share it. We're also a part of this Conference USA podcast roundtable featuring podcasts from all 12 Conference USA schools. Please like and subscribe to the podcast and follow us on the various social media platforms, including Twitter and Facebook at March to the Pod. It's March, the number 2, the pod, all one word. All right. We're going to hear a word from our friends over at Eternal Roofing, and then I'm going to get you exactly what platforms you can find us on. Eternal Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Andrus and crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com. So, again, thank you to our friends at Eternal Roofing. Here are the places you can find our podcast by searching March to the Pod. Obviously, YouTube, you're watching there. Facebook, if you're watching there. Twitter, we have Apple, the Podbean app, Spotify, Amazon Music. We're on iHeartRadio, Player FM, Listen Notes, Podchaser, and Boomplay. We are on all of those, and I will continue to see if I can get us on even more. So you find us, like, subscribe, share. That helps the show grow. That keeps us going, and we appreciate it greatly. All right. Are we ready to let Corey upset some more people?
That's what we're here for. Let's just keep it going.
Let's just have some fun. New uniforms for the Bearcats this year.
Yep.
And the all-orange version made an appearance. Colton Foster took this photo, I believe. But these have been kind of going around. You've seen the uniforms there. The all-orange uniform. All right. I'm not going to give my opinion, but we're going to give it grades.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in hearing from you, Ben Sorrells, what your grade is for this orange uniform.
I give it a B. It's literally the exact same orange uniform you had, just a little bit of different striping on the shoulder, a little bit of different font on the front. The only reason that you even got a new orange uniform is the previous orange uniform that you had was no longer in circulation at Under Armour, and you've got to replace so many of them on a yearly basis just with the wear and tear. The other one was 5-6 years old at this point, so it's the same design, just a slightly different font, slightly different lettering. The stripes on the side are just slightly different. I like the way the orange and white look, so I give it a B. I mean, it obviously looks a little different. It's not the exact same as it was before, but I think it's fine.
A B. That's solid, slightly above average.
Yeah.
Matt Santamore watching said B minus. He also said about our previous set, Mike D'Antoni Rockets offense with a barrage of threes and no defense. The fact that you said Mike D'Antoni brought me to the remembering, and this is going to really date myself, but the Tom Peters basketball era of Texas Longhorns. If you don't remember that one, that was another 3 and no D type of offense. SHSU Abzulo on YouTube said, give us black and orange and market the crap out of a Halloween game.
Yes.
Yes, we need a black jersey for football. Every other sport has one.
Yes, literally every other sport.
I put out on Twitter yesterday, mid, right? Like this uniform for me is like a C. Like, I don't have the colors are fine, but it's boring. You could outline, you could put a little thin outline around the 10 or around the Bearcats. You could give it something. It's just missing. It's missing something that would make it interesting, I guess.
Do you think it's a downgrade from what the orange was before? 'Cause, I mean, it's 90% the same.
No, I mean, my opinion is if you're going to get new uniforms, unless you're one of those traditional like University of Texas or Texas A&M type of things like that, you could take a few liberties and try to do something that may get more eyes. Look, East Texas A&M right now, they put out a video on their new uniform, and it gets more views than when they changed their name to East Texas A&M finally.
And that's the part of the social media stuff too. I mean, this is practically the same jersey with just a little bit of change, but you can still market the heck out of it.
You can market it. You could have a video showing us some things, but when this is all I see of it, no. And marketing is in. Listen, why is the first time we're seeing this here at Conference USA?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple player social media posts from pictures they did, but yeah, first time it's really been out in the public.
I'm kind of with General Sam right here. Outline the numbers, give us a stripe on the pants, and these could easily be an A.
Yes.
I agree. The stripe on the pants, I think, is something that if you're going to go kind of traditional, that's a traditional look with it. You outline it a little bit, can make it pop some. It's not enough of a difference. You could take a little bit more creative design with that kind of thing. And listen, Matt Moore said, I need a marching Sammy or Bearcat Paul on the jersey. I don't want it. I want it on the helmet. I want the marching Sammy or in the Paul. There should be 3 different helmets. Like Sam Houston misses the mark so wide on a lot of this.
Well, they had 3 last year, which was fun. I'm not exactly sure if they're going to be brought back. I know the stripes are off after the refurbishing of the helmets. The one thing I really would like to add, and you can see it on the WKU jersey, is the shoulder numbers. I think those are great for TV. I love those on the jersey.
Yeah, why not?
And it makes the guys easily identifiable too.
Yeah, well. Is this true? Matt Santamore says on Facebook, also rest in peace, David Addix. Is that right?
Yeah, he passed last week.
Creator of the Sam statue. Yes, well, rest in peace. That Sam statue will haunt anyone on I-45 if you're not expecting it. It is awesome and great job. Empathy, thoughts, and prayers to David's family. That is always a tough time when you lose a family member right there. Okay. Uniform grades, roster turnover. I heard, and I didn't clip them, Ben, but I listened to what Sam Houston Sports Talk got of the players at Media Day. James Don II and the defensive
Tyler
back.
Bailey.
Yeah. And they both talked the same things. They both said basically the same stuff, that since they've been there, it's been nothing but staff turnover, usually at a coordinator position, right? They're not necessarily wrong right there. So they kind of downplay that. That to me says, okay, they understand, they're taking it. That's good. That's a good reaction to hear. The roster turnover, people don't seem too worried about that, but I kind of am.
Especially with so many guys coming in after the spring semester for the summer, I think is where and then you've got one less week, like I mentioned earlier. The only notable thing I think that came out of those two was Don at the end alluding to he's likely the center, which I've talked about and many others have talked about throughout the spring.
He said what we'll see or something like that.
Yeah, he laughed. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that there. Yeah. The staff turnover, though, I'm not worried about necessarily the head coaching position change and that kind of stuff, but it is very disruptive for a room when your position coaches are leaving in the summertime, because the one person who matters most to the players are their position group coach.
Yeah, lost tight end coach Matt Merkins, lost wide receiver coach Tyler Scott. You had Zach Patterson move out of the running back room over to tight end, hired 2 new position coaches, lost a few analysts and GAs throughout the spring and summer. So, yeah, a lot of turnover, which I think is a big thing for the players, but also for the coaches. They've got to get up to speed super quick and then help these players get up to speed. There's so many new ones. So it's not just the players getting up to speed right now, it's the coaches too.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. A lot of people learning a lot of stuff right now. So the Cats were scheduled to go on, I think, last, right? 120, is that right?
Yeah, 120 for press conference, 145 to 2 for the TV segment.
But that got moved earlier, and we're not here to say too much about why. There have been some things going on. Some sources have indicated that Longo wanted to, and that was his push to get that changed. It's possible, especially knowing, in fact, after listening to the videos and realizing that they were having report day last night, I imagine that was the reason for his push, was so he could get back and be there for the report date in that first team meeting.
Yeah, that was 100% the part of it. And I was talking with Colin from Sports Talk yesterday, and they got there right as the press conference was happening, because this was a last-second change that was pushed for, which I did not like for them, because they made the effort they made the effort to travel up there, and they got there just in time. They expected to have almost probably 2 hours of downtime to walk around, maybe eat lunch kind of thing, and then you get thrown into the fire. So that was kind of the most frustrating part for me.
Okay, so that leads perfectly into this one. Athletics is the front porch of the university. It's been said for years.
Well, I'll add this before you go in too. So the time gets changed to 12:05 press conference, and then like 12:40 ESPN Plus. The team's Instagram page says 11:05 on there instead of 12:05, which is off. And so it's just it was a kind of a disaster from a scheduling standpoint yesterday.
It all goes into this. Athletics is the front porch of the university. So how does the university appear on a day where, if you're going to market not only your football program, you're marketing your athletics department on these media days? It's the only time you're getting just a chance to blow out some coverage of media on your entire athletics department, and you're changing the times at the last minute, right? I understand the reasoning and thinking of, I'd like to get back. That should have been handled well before you get there, number one. And number two, once you're there, you have that set time. It is a giant middle finger to the people who took the time to drive there to cover your program, because you need those people.
Right. Yeah, well, Western Kentucky starts today too, and I think they were after us even, and they had to go a long ways back home.
Yeah, they had to catch a flight. I'm
right.
Sure.
And the reason why Sam Houston, Louisiana Tech were last is because they're the 2 drivable schools in the conference, which makes sense.
Well, that's the way the Southland did it too, right? Like, they went by distance from how you got up there. So, like, Houston Christian, UIW, those were the last 2. They don't have to drive that far. It makes total sense. But this is where we've got to have a real talk about where our athletics department is right now. There have been so many cuts, and this is not a blame on one person. This is not a blame on one department. This is a fact that at some point you've cut so much that the bleeding can't be stopped, or it makes it more difficult to stop. And at this point, you're bleeding so much, you're not getting anything up, right? I Conference USA put out one video. How many videos did the football program put out on their Twitter account?
I mean, I don't think they did anything. They might have done something on X. I know they did one picture thing on Instagram.
How about the athletics account? How did the main athletics account push media day?
Nothing. And like I said, the 5 players on the watch list didn't get a post. Every other school did, which was a little frustrating.
That's very frustrating because that's showcasing your student athletes.
Well, it's about the kids.
Yes.
I mean, they're not really kids, but it's about the players, and you want to have them promoted.
Matt Santamore said, "I'm worried all the teams in athletics will be mid." I don't know that all will be.
Yeah, not all of them,
but I'm afraid there's going to be a number of them that don't quite reach mid category also.
Right.
General Sam on YouTube said, "Do you know what will be the role bullpen marketing partnership with the athletic department?"
Yeah, I know they came on this week. They're partnered with a bunch of other schools. Van Wagner does a lot of the marketing at this point. So I don't know what their partnership is really going to be. It could just be a sponsorship thing because Van Wagner handles all media rights and sponsorships for the most part.
You've cut the staff of these communication departments to the core. But it's not just the communication department. You can tell, man, the audio visual departments, digital, they have cut so many people that they cannot even put up what a Division I university, a bottom Division I university, should be able to put up on Media Day. In fact, I would after seeing what I saw from yesterday, I think the Lone Star Conference, nearly every team, possibly tomorrow, will have a better social media package put out about Media Day than what Sam Houston did. Where was the preseason poll and stuff?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You got to highlight the university, and you've got to spend the money that's going to allow you to get out there and highlight. Look, Jason Barfield, he tried to piecemeal everything together on a production all the time. It's not look, listen to me. You've got a couple. Jason Barfield is one of the best in the business. That man can make water into wine. He really can. He is so good. He needs help. And by help, sometimes that's money, sometimes that's people. SHSU Abzulu said, I mentioned in a blog that if they weren't prepared for a $40 million annual budget, we should have stayed FCS. Can't go cheap here or they'll lose fans and support. That's 100% right. Oh yeah, no, Jason points out that they didn't do a poll. They opted out.
Yeah, they did the bowl confidence index, but still I think you came in 4th or
I mean you post
over
that,
50%,
right?
or the players in the players on the watch list, the players traveling to and from Media Day, interviews, podcast, all that different kind of stuff.
Jay Wright says on Facebook, the energy leading into this football season has me worried, not going to lie. It feels like the energy for the team hasn't been there since the New Orleans Bowl. It's not, there's not a lot of positivity I don't see flowing around either, Jay.
Yeah.
What do you see, Ben? I mean, I don't.
I agree. And it's very similar and it reminds me a lot of when we won the national championship. There was nothing to promote it going into the next season, really. They went to the state capitol and had a day there, and that was about it.
And there wasn't anything that SHSU Abzulu said that's because they're in Denton. General Sam says the Instagram account. I don't know why the Instagram account, but not Twitter.
And that's for soccer and softball have had the same thing. Soccer and softball have been posting some recent signings and camps and all that kind of stuff. And community service even for the soccer team yesterday, but none of it's over on Twitter, which is there's just no alignment and symmetry too.
Again, main communication in a to me in a division, you've got one person that is your social media manager for all those they manage the team accounts, they manage the athletics account, right? So if a team's got something, they go through that social media manager, they get it all scheduled. They've got the subscription to whatever they need that can go on to all the things at the same time. You know, this is my concern, Matt. Matt, you hit it on the head. Bobby Williams on cruise control his last year or two. I'm afraid the whole university has gone on cruise control or worse at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the contract or his deal as of now expires at this coming next August. So just over a year from now, which is through the completion of the press box kind of thing. And I mean, I know we're coming up with a ton of soccer. That's what I'm saying. They had a whole community service project yesterday, which was a cool thing. We're 1 month from kickoff, and feels like every school puts something out for 1 month from kickoff. I put something out, but that's just another thing to just kind of raise awareness and promote.
What the athletics do?
Nothing. At least to this point at 5:00.
Jason Pluckett said, my colleague D2 golf coach in Michigan did know about our new assistant golf hire. Word traveled. Golf does a good job sharing updates on alums. Matt wants to put you on salary with the school. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll see. Some people have tried. I don't know. There are some good things going on with golf on the Cat Fund end here soon, so that'll be fun. And I have heard I talked to Coach Kieschnick last week, had a call with him for Cat Fund and talking about the program. Really excited about the new hire coming over from ULM. She's going to help a lot with social media for them too, which is going to help.
Okay. Overall grade for Conference USA Media Day. This is a grade on the conference itself, how they operated that, how it came across TV and everything else. What grade do you give Conference USA?
TV gets an A. The TV presentation I thought was great, literally to the minute on time. I thought it was pretty good all around. The press conference side, probably a C minus. There were audio issues, video issues, the questions that were asked, there were issues there. And on the press conference side, they only allowed 2 kind of softball questions to Judy McLeod, and then she just kind of ran off, which I know a lot of people didn't really appreciate, especially at Louisiana Tech, trying to get some guidance on if they're leaving this or in 2026 or 27. So I'd probably give that side of it like a C minus.
Do you want to give like a whole grade together?
Yeah, we'll give it a B minus.
I mean, I thought the TV side was okay. I thought it was professionally done. You know, they did as well as they could. There's something being hidden in this conference. When your commissioner is avoiding anything more than just a couple softball questions, when every question is getting moderated through a Zoom and you may or may not even get your question answered, when you're doing that kind of stuff, it makes someone like me think that, what are you hiding?
Yeah.
And why are you hiding? And I get you don't want to you know what's coming, right? They're going to ask you about Tarleton. They're going to ask you about La Tech. By the time you get up there, you should already have what you're going to say.
Right. You got to, because you know it's coming.
Yeah. SHS Shoaib Zulu said, probably trying to buy them to stay. Did the American Southwest Conference start that by paying those other D3 schools to come join them to keep them alive?
Yeah.
Is that where we're really going to go? Anyway, my overall grade for the Conference USA Media Day, it's going to be a C minus because I think the overall press conference thing has more value in that than the TV side. However, I'm also a writer, so that could be part of the reason why I feel that way. All right, we have one more set to go. We got a defensive back preview to come. We'll get that knocked out here in a minute. But first, let's hear another word from our friends over at Eternal Roofing. Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use certain teed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email Taylor at eternalroofingtx.com. Go vote. Go vote. bestofbsb.com. Search for Eternal Roofing. Vote them in. We need to get them up. They are the best roofing service, no matter where, but especially throughout the state of Texas. Also, we haven't talked about it much. I see a hat that you're wearing today, Ben. It says "Took Back Texas." I think some of that came through a cat fund at one time.
It did last season after that Texas State win, but yeah, got some exciting stuff happening. I know we put out last week our promo for the weekend with the Cats, which is supporting our men's basketball program. So we got that going on. Probably have some exciting golf stuff rolling out at some point this fall. So a lot of good info coming out and events for people to be a part of. Cat Fund members obviously will always get a discount into those events if they want to attend. That's the way we've done it in the past, and we'll continue to do it. So continuing to support these athletes and doing everything that we can to try to make a difference.
cat-fund.com. Show your support for the Sam Houston athletes. Matt Santamore has an idea for hats this year. Let's see. We need to make hats this year that say "Take Back Huntsville."
I don't think we've lost Huntsville to this point, at least. We'll see.
General Sam said, "Oh yeah, Cat fans has been down for me all day."
I'll have to let our guy know.
Yeah,
The guy that runs it is on our board. So
did everybody get banned?
Maybe.
Did I do something to get everybody on Cat fans banned?
No, it's on an older server. It does this from time to time. You got to refresh it. Yeah, it looks like it's not loading for me, so I'll shoot a message over.
Well, can you do that after the show?
Yes.
Okay, because right now we need to hear from you, Ben Sorrells. We need a preview of that defensive back room that it's got one player that was on offense, now learning in defense.
Well, you talk about Tyler Bailey?
Yeah.
Well, this is his second year on the defensive side, so he's got a lot of experience.
Real quick on him specifically, he mentioned something. I didn't cut it, obviously, but he mentioned something about what he learned under the new defensive coordinator, Freddie Autry-Lindsey. And he said that he learned how to disguise coverages better and things of that nature. I didn't necessarily take that as a shot at the previous staff as much as I took it as the guy's got to learn a whole new side of the football. It cannot be easy.
Yeah, that, and he's got a more likely chance of making an impact this year, so there might be some additional responsibilities as well. Last year he made the switch from wide receiver to DB. He's also making the switch, he mentioned, from nickel to free safety. So obviously a little bit of a different position, probably a different learning curve that the staff is helping him through.
What else should we look for in that defensive backfield group?
Yeah, so this is probably the most fun group to talk about on the defensive side. It's been a lot of doom and gloom, kind of on that front seven, but the DB room, obviously I don't think it's going to be what it was last year, which was maybe the best DB room in the group of five, but I think it's going to be a solid, group of five Conference USA room, middle of the conference, which is what you need. So we'll start in the secondary or start in the back half with the safeties. The biggest name to know, C.J. Brown, coming over from, I'm blanking, Mac School, coming over from Bowling Green. I don't know why I completely blanked there, but coming over from Bowling Green was an all-conference.
Falcons, Ben, you forgot about the Falcons.
All-conference performer in the MAC a few years ago, has over 200 career tackles. He's going to make a big impact there. He came in after the spring, so get to know his name because he's going to be making a lot of plays. Some other names to know, Trey Harris had a lot of success at Cornell in the Ivy League. Obviously, a pretty big step up, but a guy that's got good size at 6'4", 205, is athletic. So a name to know there. Cecil Powell is an intriguing one. played for Freddie Autry-Lindsey and started at NC State for 2 years, had a pretty severe leg injury that kept him out for 2 years. And then he went to Troy last year where he played sparingly, another safety, a guy on the back end that could make a difference. And then the two names that return, kind of the most notable ones at the safety position, are Tyler Bailey and Jaden Scott. Jaden Scott was a guy that probably would have started for you last year before Isaiah Cash got here at the last second. He had an interception against Rice in the opener while Isaiah Cash was still kind of getting his feet wet and getting put into the rotation. So he's definitely a guy that showed he can play at this level. Tyler Bailey, very athletic, has a knack for the ball. I know he mentioned he had 6 interceptions last year in camp. Has 6 again this year. I was there for probably 2 or 3 of them last year. And a guy that could probably play at this level. And so you've got some pretty good depth at safety. 5 or 6 guys you feel pretty good about. At corner, I think the top name to know is Alonzo Edwards, coming over from Texas State, a guy that started for them 2 years ago, kind of fell out of the rotation last year, but has played at a high level here before. Pretty good size, about 6'1", 190, so that's good as well. Iman Allen was your number 3 corner last year and started when Davion Armstead was out for a while. He's a guy that's probably going to make a big impact, but he's got so much versatility. He played literally every position in the secondary at some point last year, that while corner is probably his best spot, if he's needed, he could go fit in somewhere else. And then 3 other names that kind of have my attention. Octavius Henderson. He transfers in from Southeastern Missouri, another late transfer for the summer. Played pretty well there. He's got good size at 6'2", 180, which you like to see. And then there's 2 JUCO guys from California. I know we've talked about a lot of Cali JUCO guys, but you got 2 more. Those are Davion Green. He's one, and Maurice Mathis is another. So 4 or 5 options there as well. A couple proven, couple unproven. But you've got some decent depth. I think you've got probably 5 guys at corner, 5 guys at safety nickel who you feel pretty good about. And I think there's a couple guys that have enough top-end talent to where they can compete at a pretty high level. So
the Cali JUCO, they have a lot of talent. Teams tend to go there heavy if they're looking to fill some, and that's exactly where Phil Longo and staff found the team this year, needing to fill a lot of roster spots. So hitting Cali JUCO is one place you can definitely get a lot of that. Your friend Matt Santa Morris wants to know, can we get Jimerson to coach at Sam Houston instead of Jacksonville High School?
I think he's still trying to play, and that's close to home for him. So probably not at this time. Maybe if Cassidy was here, they had a great relationship.
Well, Skylar Cassidy is now at North Texas, where Eric Morris is digging on UIW's football stadium at the THSCA.
Oof. And he was there before.
That?
No, I didn't.
Holy moly, yeah. He in his press conference at THSCA, his was on Sunday. He talked about UIW playing in a stadium that's worse than many high schools, which
it's true, but you don't say it out loud, I guess.
But like when I asked Commissioner Grant about it, right? He said their footprint, they have no room to expand. What are you going to do? Where are you going to put it, right? Like, you're almost going to have to just find another place to play for a year and build it there, kind of like what Sam Houston's doing right now.
Right.
That's kind of what it is. General Sam says you got to truly have love for the game to play Cali JUCO, since there's no scholarships there. Same in Division III too.
A lot of guys just trying to get an opportunity.
Yes, an opportunity and grades. Grades is a lot of it in JUCO too. And so, and a lot of that comes from just not applying yourself. So that's why they have JUCO coaches who do nothing but make sure you're in class.
Yes. And the one big thing I was going to hit on with this secondary group is last year's group was supremely talented, but you had a great front seven that got a lot of pressure. I think this year's group, while they're not as talented, they've got the talent and depth to compete. Can they stand up long enough with what looks to be probably a lack of pressure from that front seven? And I think they're also going to be relied upon with a lot of like disguised blitzes, corner blitzes, stuff like that, because those are your most talented guys. And so there's going to be a lot asked of them, and we'll see what they can do. But I am interested to see how long they can hold up, considering quarterbacks are probably going to have a lot of time to throw.
So Phil Longo likes to talk. Let me start over. Phil Longo does not like to highlight certain players over others quite often, right? But I heard him yesterday say that the offensive line, the defensive line, they get to eat first. They get the biggest seats on the bus. They get on the airplane first. Like they get the best. Now, if you're not trying, that to me seems to go opposite what he says.
Yeah.
That Corey's poking the bear again. Do you see what I do? Do you see what's wrong with me?
It's a little good cop, bad cop.
It is, and I'm great at bad cop. As my mom used to always talk, I was just good at agitating people. SHSU Ops Zulu, in a year where we will likely need all the help, I'm more concerned of our kicking situation than any other position.
And we could have a little special teams preview next week. Actually, that might be a good little filler.
There you go.
Longo did mention, and I've talking to him and people around the program throughout the spring. They do think they're going to be improved on special teams. Kicking position, absolutely. RJ Lopez coming in from Purdue, having kicked at UCLA, also has shown he can play at this level at a pretty decent level. And that's going to be an upgrade over Christian Pavon. And then you've got Tate Ryan, one of the top 20 high school kickers in the country, coming in.
Are we going to save anything for next week?
I was just going to hit on the kicker position. I wasn't going to hit on the other ones. So kicker position is going to be upgraded. So
come back next week. You'll find out more about special teams.
Special teams as a whole, I'm not too sure. But kicking, I do agree that it is going to be an upgrade.
All right. Well, I am getting nudged by one Sunshine the Fourth that says she's hungry. And if she doesn't eat soon, I will not be allowed back in the house tonight. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone who was watching on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. SHSU Abzulu said, thanks, Ben, laughing. You got a little preview now. We got to come back next week to hear the rest of it. Ben, thank you. Thank you for bringing all that information. Thank you to Conference USA and Sam Houston Sports Talk for all the videos they provided, for going down there and getting all that stuff. It was not easy on them yesterday, so a big thank you to them. Big thank you to Ben Sorrells for joining me here. And we can't do it without you, the viewers and the listeners. Find us, subscribe. If you need help, ask us. marchtothepod.podbean.com. Till next week, when we have a little special teams preview, Ben's going to lead us out with something that's going to help us feel a little better today about the Cats program.
Yeah, eat 'em up, Cats, and still haven't lost a game this year.
Still undefeated.
Yep.